I am in Vienna, Austria at the Tiergarten Schönbrunn, the Vienna Zoo at Schönbrunn Palace and Gardens. This is the oldest zoo in the world, and I am super excited to see what it is like. The Schönbrunn Zoo, or menagerie, was established by Franz Stephan, the Holy Roman Emperor and husband of Empress Maria Theresa. Menageries, the precursors to the zoo, began popping up in Europe with Charlemagne. The Tower of London had a menagerie in the 13th century, and King Louis XIV had two in France. But Franz Stephan wanted a menagerie here, so in 1752, construction was started with the 12 enclosures surrounding this central pavilion. The Imperial Pavilion at the center of the zoo is an interesting Baroque octagonal structure. It was completed in 1759. It was a breakfast and social room back in the 18th century. Now it is a restaurant. While the menagerie was originally private for the enjoyment of the imperial court, the zoo along with other areas of the Schönbrunn Gardens were open to the public in 1778. Originally it was only open on Sundays for decently dressed persons. This zoo also has an interesting wartime history. An overwhelming majority of the animals died during World War I due to supply shortages. The zoo was saved because of a relief campaign by Vienna citizens. Then at the end of World War II, the zoo was bombed along with the city of Vienna. Over 1,000 animals died in the bombings and many historic enclosures were damaged. The Soviet and later British occupants of this district of Vienna did help with the reconstruction in the post-war period. Now the zoo is still going strong, considered to be one of the best in Europe despite being the oldest. They have giant pandas at the Schönbrunn Zoo. Let's go see them first. Giant pandas are extremely rare in zoos outside of China. Only a few have contracts with the Chinese government to house pandas, and these can be revoked. As I found out when I visited the San Diego Zoo, I have never seen a real living giant panda before. This is so freaking awesome. The pandas arrived here in 2003. The original male panda was Long Hui. He has since passed away, and the original female, Yang Yang, is still here. They were the first pandas to successfully breed in Europe naturally. In 2007, Yang Yang gave birth to Fu Long. She has also given birth to 4 more pandas. In 2016, she had twins, Fu Fang and Fu Ban, and she was the first panda in captivity to raise pandas on her own without the help of humans. The cubs were all transferred to China at the age of 2, but they got a new male panda here, Yuan Yuan, in 2019. Here is a koala habitat. Look at that guy just chilling on that tree branch. They do sleep about 18 hours a day, so most of them are asleep. They generally eat eucalyptus leaves, which are actually poisonous to most animals, but for koalas they are a delicacy. Here are the giraffes, the tallest mammals on Earth. The Schönbrunn Zoo was gifted its original giraffe in 1828 by the Viceroy of Egypt. That giraffe actually had a big cultural impact on the city of Vienna. Its fur pattern influenced fashion designs, and giraffe-themed objects were popular. This is the giraffe's new indoor enclosure. The original outdated structure from the 1700s was updated. The zoo is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site designation, along with the rest of the palace grounds. The grounds of this historic zoo are beautifully maintained. Alright, I'm going to walk under this tunnel. This is a historic orangery built in the 19th century under Kaiser Franz I. Later on it was used as a film studio in the 1920s. But in 2009 the orangery was converted into the orangery, an orangutan habitat inside the 19th century palm house. This is a great use of the historic structure. Very cool to see what they did with it. And gotta love the orangutans. The habitat continues outside. Here are some little bitterns. This is another older section of the Tiergarten, a 19th century edition. We are going to head through one of the structures, which is a really neat walkthrough. There goes a sloth slowly making his way through the wonderful interior of this historic structure. There is a monkey island in the middle of this pond. This one is in fact inhabited by swinging monkeys. There are some lemurs in here. That's a pack of nyalas, an antelope species from southern Africa. There are some ostriches housed in another one of the surviving structures of the original 12 exhibits. Here's another classic, the flamingos. That is a group of elands. Of course, they have zebras as well. And there is a magnificent leopard. This is an old monkey cage, home to white-faced Saki and Goldie's monkeys. The cage stands behind the Affenhaus, the historic monkey house of the Schönbrunn Zoo. The Affenhaus was built in 1841. I really like that monkey medallion on the building. The monkey house, which made early use of cast iron, is home to a variety of monkey species. On the second level, there is a monkey museum. Us humans have been fascinated with them for centuries, even before we knew about our close relationship with them. Here's an example of the classic see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil monkeys. The ancient Egyptian god Thoth would sometimes be portrayed as a baboon. Here are Baroque era girls gawking at a monkey. There's a human woman and monkey in love in the late 19th century. There's an old monkey sitting on an organ. I love that. Here are scenes of monkeys with dead humans. The monkey with the mallet is part of an allegory of architecture. Here are depictions of monkeys in more recent media. I believe as a kid I had both that Curious George DVD and that Donkey Kong Wii game. So this little monkey museum up here is fantastic. I definitely wish more zoos would make historical exhibits about representations of certain animals like that. Here is the elephant habitat. The first elephant arrived at Schönbrunn in 1770, so they have a long history here. I had to stop by the penguin habitats, which is another well-themed display. These are Humboldt penguins from South America.
Let's stay together. So, komm.
Now I am going to embark up a hill on the Nature Discovery Trail. Oh look, there is an Arctic wolf. The first wolves arrived at the zoo in 1781. Wolves and bears were the first predators at the zoo. Now we'll head up in the wolf splick. There is a view over the habitat from up here, but the wolf can't be seen. Here's an exhibit on bees and their fascinating society. They even have a live beehive. This is the Tirollerhof, an authentic traditional Tyrolean farmhouse that was built in 1722. For centuries it was located in the lower Inn Valley by Brandenburg in Tyrol, but it was moved piece by piece and reassembled here at the zoo in 1994. An upper level of the farmhouse is preserved to how it looked, filled with antique handcrafted Tyrolean furnishings. That is a Krampus mask, a great Tyrolean folk art piece of the anti-Santa. The ground floor of the Tirollerhof has an organic farm shop with fresh ham, cheese, and bread. Visitors can eat inside the farmhouse. The relocated Tyrolean farmhouse is one of my favorite attractions of the zoo. There are also some farm animals around the Tirollerhof. Some of these species that were common in Tyrol are now endangered. The trail continues with a series of suspension bridges. There is a great view of Schönbrunn Palace itself from up here. Here on this majestic rock outcropping overlooking the city of Vienna, mountain goats and monkeys coexist in harmony. Now we are going to enter the Rainforest House, a recent addition built in this century. There are bats hanging from the ceiling. So the Rainforest building was great, although I think the lower section was closed off. Now we'll keep on exploring the oldest zoo in the world. There is a sleeping polar bear. The first one arrived here over 200 years ago. There are king penguins in here. This is part of the Franz Josef Land exhibit, named after a desolate Arctic archipelago that was claimed by the Austrians in a late 19th century exploration. And there are some seals here. That's a great totem pole. Let's go see the rhinos in there. I like this mosaic of St. Francis with the birds. We are now inside the insectarium, with all sorts of creepy insects on display. There are the mighty bison. This is the inside of the hippopotamus pavilion. They must be outside. Yep, there's the hippos. The final stop will be the aquarium. The aquarium is fairly small, but has some interesting and colorful fish species and other sea life. This eel tunnel is pretty neat. There's a crocodile. Oh wow, that is a giant tortoise. I bet he's pretty old. Those are Andean flamingos, which are a bit louder than the other ones. So that was the Tiergarten Schönbrunn, the world's oldest zoo. I had a great time exploring this historic zoological park. It is beautiful, well themed, and seeing giant pandas for the first time was awesome. I would definitely recommend visiting this zoo on a visit to Schönbrunn. It's up there with San Diego as one of my favorite zoos. If you enjoyed this video, you will probably like my other content featuring zoos, historic locations, natural wonders, and much more across Europe and America. I did film other videos on my visit to Schönbrunn, including one on the gardens and the nearby desert house, a desert botanical garden associated with the zoo. So if you're interested in those videos, they are linked in the description. Also, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel to get notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching!